Welcome to a corporate time with Tom and Welcome to a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
On the line with us right now. This is a big deal, man, because I know that this particular comedian lived in Florida for a little bit of time, and we currently live in Florida, so we can tell him about all of the things that have changed. But I'm sure he's been back now and again. Todd Barry's on the line. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Real good.
Todd's going to be at the Dr. Phillips Jim Pugh Theater.
The what now?
Jim Pugh.
Jim Pugh.
He's in the old Jim Pugh Theater.
You can get your tickets at Dr. Phillips. You guys know.
It's the greatest venue in Orlando. Did you know you were playing the greatest venue in our town?
What makes it so great?
It's beautiful and it's
expensive, Todd.
It's state of the art.
Yeah,
they spent a lot of money on it.
It's Walt Disney has a theater there, and the bathrooms are gold, and it's just phenomenal, man. It really, I'm making jokes, but it's an amazing venue.
I can't wait, man.
So, Todd, I want to ask you what's the weirdest place you've done stand-up, because I know you've done stand-up in weird places before. So what would you say the weirdest one or place is?
Weirdest. I did a show in Australia where it was in an alley and a rat basically walked across the quote-unquote stage as I was
Did the rat get a pop?
Yeah, rat got a little applause.
Nice.
But yeah, and I did a show, let's see what else. Oh, I did a show in San Francisco outside that coincided with the Blue Angels being overhead.
How did that even happen?
Perfect for comedy.
I don't know. That's the scheduling snafu, I guess would be the word. But yeah, they were just. I mean, if you're going to have your show ruined, it might as well be by jets doing flips.
Yeah, that's top tier ruin.
Is that a direct result of someone not understanding how a stand-up comedian needs to be presented, or is it someone like?
I mean, I think they just had. They scheduled the Blue Angels, and then this festival's already on the books, and then maybe they didn't go, are the Blue Angels in town? I could see overlooking that when planning an event. But
how did the alley happen? Was that did you know, or is that just something a happenstance?
It was a comic who used to named Brendan Burns. There is a comic named Brendan Burns. I think he's an Australian guy, and he used to do his regular show in like a little theater, and then afterwards, just as a bonus, he would run outside and have like a showcase comedy club. So he would just do it in an alley, and so it wasn't like I got booked in an alley and flew to Australia or something. But
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome though.
What I'm also
I like little weird things like that.
Todd, I'm curious about you've done multiple shows where there's no act, it's all crowd work, and basically the entire show is improv. And that seems insane to me that you go into it where that's your mind, and you don't fall back on all right, I'm gonna do some jokes.
It's super difficult, but both have their place. Like writing a joke is an art form, and then crowd work certainly is as well.
Yeah, I mean, I did that crowd work special that's on Amazon Prime. If you guys want to watch it, called the Crowd Work Tour. Yeah, I just did that because I kind of was a little bored with myself, and I thought, I wonder if I could do entire shows with just crowd work. And I did a tour. I booked a tour myself, and then I booked another tour and filmed that one. And
do any of these things that you do? Because the first time I saw you, I believe would have been Comedy Central, like Dr. Katz type stuff, and I really truly loved that style of animation. And then it led me as a young man to be introduced to a lot of these comedians that were new to me, right? And watching that, has there been anything that you've done in film and TV, when you're writing a book, stand up, that scares you a little bit? Like, what puts you outside of your comfort zone? Because it seems like you're really good at a lot of stuff, including playing drums and all kinds of stuff.
I definitely ain't good at playing drums, but
well, you're in a Billy Joel tribute band, are you not?
I was in one. We did like 3 gigs. Yeah, we were. There's a band called A Matter of Trust with me, John Benjamin, John Glazer, James McNew from Yola Tango, and some other folks. And but yeah, that I did a handful of times. We just played the one song, A Matter of Trust, and sometimes we would do it twice. And That was the extent of that. But,
That's awesome.
I mean, as far as scaring, I mean, I get scared when I feel like I've run out of material. So the writing of new jokes is scary to me.
Well,
just because if you do a special and then you're exposed and then people see it and then they want to see something new when you get there, and it's like it's hard to write it fast enough sometimes too.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, Todd, because you've been doing this for a long time, and you've seen the society morph into new social media comedians and the different ways comedians can make money and the ways they go up the ranks, and
Sure.
now you don't have to go up the standard, which was 20 years ago, which is like trying to get some TV deal to increase your exposure, and then increases your audience numbers. And
there are different pathways.
There was
now.
a pathway, and now it's just all over the place. But I think to truly hone your skill as a stand-up, that it's better to go through the traditional route that we know of as traditional, the route you went through. So do you think that, and I've asked this to other comedians, like the future comedians, because they don't have to go through that similar route, are somehow going to be less trained to be truly,
they're not going to have all the skills.
Good at their job, or as good as they could be?
That's a good question. I don't know, because I mean, if you're talking about like people who are like YouTube sensations or TikTok sensations or something like that.
I mean, I guess, but that's even morphing to something different now.
Yeah, I'm just talking like people can get successful without going through the grind of it. Speaking of grind again, but it's like you work your way up the ranks of doing horrible open mic nights, and then you go, then you build your career. But through that building your career, and even doing doing shows and a whole tour of just doing crowd work, like that strengthens
it's
your
push-ups. He's doing push-ups.
Yeah, you're doing push-ups, and I think there's a lot of ways to become successful without doing those push-ups, and it's kind of like a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I think there are definitely people who maybe get instantly. I mean, they get famous on YouTube, and then they get a chance to tour, and who knows what they do in a live show. I mean, I've never really seen one. But, I mean, it's not like getting on YouTube. Anyone could be on YouTube, so it's not like they still have to do something that connects with people. So it's not like they don't have a grind of, like, working in shitty clubs. And, yeah, I mean, you definitely get performance. If you're just talking purely about performance skills, yeah. Doing it.
Exactly, and you're right. They have talent. Obviously, their roads to the top. They got this many views because of talent. But I always equate it to athletes, and you could have genetic talent and be talented as an athlete, but you got to put in the work to be the best. And I'm just wondering if people are putting in the work like they used to, because you don't really have to these days.
Well, I mean, I guess I would say they are putting in they're putting in different work. So, I mean, yeah, like I was saying, if it's not just as simple as, you put a thing on YouTube and now you're playing clubs. It's
right.
Well, you're competing with everyone else on YouTube. And, not everyone, I'm sure most people on YouTube are not breaking it big. But, I mean, I do know what you're saying. There are people who've had a cushier road than others.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do
think that you're just talking about purely stand-up skills. There's nothing, a seasoned comic and someone who's just kind of got famous for other reasons. It's a pretty obvious difference when you see them.
You mentioned seasoned comics, and a lot of seasoned comics have podcasts now, almost all of them that I know of. You started your podcast very early on. I know we started in 2009. I think you were in 2012, I believe, if hopefully I'm correct on that. Is podcasting something that you enjoy? Like, what do you like about?
Well, I haven't done my podcast in a long time. Actually.
Yeah, since 2020, right?
God, yeah. I kind of I don't know. I just lost steam for it, and I wasn't making any money doing it, so it kind of just becomes a grind.
Yeah.
There's
that word
You
again.
weren't making any money.
How could you not make money? I mean, it was
big guests.
super popular. I mean, did you just not want to monetize it at all, or did it just?
I think it was monetized. I just don't think it was. I don't know. I know people like Mark Maron do very well, but I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't make a good financial deal or something. But yeah, I don't know why I wasn't making. I mean, I was making a tiny bit of money, but it was definitely, I would call it a tiny bit of money.
Well, nowadays, Todd, companies, marketing agencies and stuff are buying your advertising rights, so you don't have to do anything. And they'll give you a monthly guarantee of like, here's 10,000 or 20,000 a month or whatever, depending on your downloads, and we'll put the commercials to it, and we'll just
buy that's the way
it.
they did on mine. I never did the commercials myself, and because I didn't want to, but that probably shot myself in the foot a little bit financially.
But I mean, like keeping it the way you want it, I admire that too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, because people love it. Even the chat room right now is lighting up with people that still want to see if you're bringing it back, or they want to, hear it again, and I do too. But if you run
maybe
out of
I will bring it back in some other form or the same form, but I don't know. I just needed a break, and I've taken quite a long break from it.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you, Todd, because there is a difference between being a stand-up comedian and a radio DJ, and you kind of have to be a radio guy to monetize as much as possible, right? Like we know this because we do this.
There's a disgusting cheesiness
and there's
to
it.
There's
a cheesiness in reading commercials for Squarespace or whatever the hell,
Stamps.com.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You're like, I'm not doing this crap. Like I got into this business to be a comedian, not to read 1-800-Flowers commercials.
There's nothing funny about Sherry's Berries. Or is there? Maybe there is. Maybe there is.
Yeah. And there's a certain selling your soul that I completely understand, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, it's a personal decision. It's not like I have contempt for anyone who does the ads for themselves. I mean, that's just my own personal preference.
But when I look at you and I look at us, I think you're way cooler. Way cooler.
Yeah.
Well, I might be. I don't know you guys that well, but probably I'm much cooler than you.
Oh, yeah. So Todd, when everything shut down after the pandemic, did you just write? Did you start a different project, or did you? Some comics we talked to just continue to work in Florida and Texas.
No, I didn't. I definitely didn't just. I took it seriously, and then occasionally these outdoor shows in New York started popping up, and I would do them. And then they sort of were like a little bit of some indoor shows, which I did a couple sort of regretfully, but for the most part, I just wandered around and found restaurants that were open. But I didn't. I can't say I just hunkered down and said I'm going to use this as a writing opportunity. But I certainly and wish I had. But,
I think a lot of people you would have had to have known that we were going to come out of it to know that, right? Like, oh, okay, I'm going to have.
Right. I think there was part of me. Yeah, there was part of me was like, 6 weeks. This is going to be done in 6 weeks. And,
yeah. Had I known I'd been shelving 2 years, maybe I would have prepared to use that time to write stuff.
Right.
I get it, yeah.
But, I'm also a guy who writes on stage, so I don't. If I'm not going on stage, I'm probably not going to write. I mean, I could. I guess I could have tried to just write a monologue in my laptop, but I didn't. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Todd, last question. I'm curious to when you do an entire tour of crowd work, I'm guessing that you start realizing who to talk to in the crowd, like
he's John Edwards.
Well, those skills become better, right? With anybody, like you start picking out, like, this person, this personality, I could tell that is going to be better for the show, that kind of thing. Did those skills get better honing in on who would be the most entertaining to talk to, or is it just completely random?
No, because sometimes the person who seems boring has some crazy story. I can't think of an example right now, but so sometimes someone, you're always looking for someone with like a spicy job and like someone who works at a dildo factory or something, but sometimes the person with like the mundane job has some crazy story that happened at work, and it is kind of a hard read because the only times I really like, it's kind of pretty random, or if someone intrigues me, or maybe if they're wearing a T-shirt and I'm curious about it, but oftentimes it's just, I just pick them at random because the crowds are very polite. My crowds are, for the most part, very polite. So not a lot of like, woo, talk to me, and that's kind of the person I don't. Sometimes people will point someone out, like talk to my friend, and it's like, well, I don't want to talk because you told me to talk to your friend. If I pick your friend, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
so
I get
I
you.
tend to just go for people, but I also back if someone is clearly not into it, which occasionally happens, I just back off because I don't. It's not about.
Oh, so you don't push through it like when you're sitting front row, and then you've got like Guy Torrey.
Well, I
like,
have someone sitting front row and they're clearly, you can tell that they don't want to talk and they just want to watch the show. Then I retreat because I don't want to be like. Then you're just meeting.
Yeah, that's also very polite for you to allow them to just enjoy the show. When I think most comics.
That's I wouldn't necessarily. I don't think I would go to a crowd work show wanting to be talked to myself. But it is weird when they sit right up front in a crowd work show and don't want to be talked to.
Yeah, some people love it.
Sometimes they just put you there, Todd. It's not.
Yeah, you and I've been
depends.
Sam and I have been put there many times, and then and I'm 5'2", so then I'm made fun of. I'm belittled in front of the crowd. I love it.
And Todd, you're right.
I'm like 5'6", so I'm not really 5'2".
Yeah, you probably wouldn't do that to me.
It is a horrible flaw that humanity has. The people that want the most attention are the people you never want to hear about or hear from, or for the most part, it's like it's like the people that want to yell things out and tell their story.
Yeah,
it's always the least interesting, worst
stories. Worst stories.
It's like, why are you wired like that? Why haven't you realized no one wants to hear you scream out or hear your stories or anything about you? Well, Todd, the show is September 29th. The Jim Pugh
Theater.
I
should point out it's not a crowd work show in Orlando.
Right.
No.
It's a theater show.
You're getting to see
stadium tour.
You're getting to see the stadium.
I will do some crowd work. I tend to usually do some crowd work, but it's not a purely crowd work show.
Nice.
Yeah. And again, nicest venue in
is.
Orlando.
I'll be there.
Dr. Phillips.
Sam's going to be there. Sam's going to come see you, and she's been waiting 2 years.
Oh, yeah. I bought these tickets 2 years ago.
And we haven't heard her complaints about it ever. She has not been sad, but now you're getting to see it. It's happening, Sam. But we're glad to have you in Orlando, man, and appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Thanks.
And gals.
All right. See ya.
See you, Todd.
That's a hard one.
That's
a hard one.
Sometimes.
That's a hard one.
Is the phone or something?
No,
that's him.
That's him.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
He's not for everyone.
Also, it didn't help that the interview I listened to right before this, because I'm super familiar with him, but even in the interview, he's like, I don't really like doing those interviews. And I'm like, oh God, we have one schedule.
Well,
like, I heard that in the thing, and I'm like,
we gotta sell tickets.
He was one of the ones they offered, and I was like, I love Todd Barry.
It's fine, but we're gonna be honest about it. It's hard. It's just hard because then I felt like, okay, we're gonna walk through something here we normally don't do because the guys on Twitch got to see it. Earlier on, I could tell because I'm an empath. I could feel his energy when I would talk to him on the phone. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be hard. I could already tell it's gonna be hard, right? So then, when we said, where are we putting this? I looked at you guys. I'm like, we can't discuss this with him on the line, or it's going to get worse. That's why I'm like, we'll figure out where we put it later. Let's go. That's why you got that energy from me. I started to freak out.
Well, don't freak out.
Because I'm like, we can't discuss where we're going to put this while the guy's waiting on the line. We can do that later. Let's get him on the line.
He don't care.
No.
He don't care about nothing.
No.
Which I always look at it like, I'm not doing good enough. I need to entertain now. Like, he doesn't want to do it? I'll do it.
I'll just fade you down.
I'll start doing stand-up. That I freak out, and then I'm like, oh, it's not going well. It's my fault.
It wasn't that it wasn't going well.
And I don't want people
to
think, I don't want people to think that if you thought this interview wasn't the best, that you shouldn't go see him, because watch his stand-up. His stand-up is actually really funny.
Well, he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, he doesn't do interviews a lot.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Interviews with comedians, for the most part, I mean, what are they going to tell you?
Right.
No, we're good at it, though.
And it's hard on the phone.
It's hard on the phone.
It is hard on the phone, yeah.
I'm taking this one as an L. I'm blaming myself again.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine, but we don't do fine here. We do extraordinaire.
I want it to be the best interview of Todd Barry's ever had.
That's not gonna happen.
I wanted him to get done.
He was on Mark Maron.
I wanted him to get done. I heard that one, and it wasn't that good. I would like for him to get done, and then I want him to be
buddies.
Like, you know what? I got to stop doing interviews because it'll never get better than that. That's what I wanted, but we didn't get that.
Every once in a while, we'll do an interview with the people. Like I could hear it. They're like, hey, "This is good.
I
like
good
you
energy."
guys.
There was one in there where you were thinking and he was thinking, and I was just going to let it go. And I could have jumped in there, but it's against who I am. It's more me to sit back and go, yes. yes, let it. Is he going to say one more time? And then he was like, yep.
You know what? Maybe we should at the beginning be like, Todd, you don't want to do this, right? We'll just tell everybody, hey, Todd Barry's here.
And you just hang out while we talk, and then just say, laugh a couple of times,
or we just say that
fake your laughter.
Hey, Todd, I hope you have a good time. Be at the Dr. Phillips.
We'll do this. What if we do this? We're just like, hey, everybody, we just talked to Todd Barry off air, and he told us
to tell you
that you're going to really love seeing
that would have been
him
better, I think.
at the Pew Theater at Dr. Phillips. It's phenomenal. Best venue in town, best sound. We know you're an accomplished, literally one of the funniest comedians walking the planet.
Because the problem is the only people listening to us is our listeners.
Yeah.
At this point.
So that's why all of this that we're saying right now makes sense to them. I promise.
Not one person listening to this, and I'll put a bet out there, and you'd have to prove this, stumbled upon this show, and that doesn't exist anymore. Like, there's no way this show is the first time you're listening to this, right? So our listeners who know us are hearing a struggle. And I think
I think it's honest.
So
I think it's real.
And they're like, oh, these MFers are struggling. Me and Daniel call it running.
That one was hard.
I didn't have to run.
I got my notes in front of me. The thing here, I'll walk you through a couple of others. Because I like this. Because I didn't get to talk about the Gators because I didn't feel the energy. I was going to bring up Broward County, but I didn't get much. I started with like kind of the little Florida thing, but I didn't get much there.
I blame
Billy Joel tribute band. I got that in there, but he's a little bit.
I blame other radio people and TV
for ruining
people.
it.
Yes, because
you ruined it
for sure. He doesn't want to do these things because every one of these things
not because of us
are horrible.
Like, you made it bad.
Yeah, because we'll just talk Todd will be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, what are you doing? It like because he's a funny guy, but I think because he's conditioned, like, oh God, two goofuses are gonna ask me stupid questions.
Oh no, I read it in two interviews.
Same
Sam.
boring BS.
The other one, he said that he doesn't like interviews. He just prefers a normal conversation, which is exactly what Tom's saying.
And I was trying.
I blame myself. I blame myself on this.
I should have been like, "Hey, what's up?" But then I felt like he was gonna be like, nothing. Like he wasn't gonna give me anything. So then I was like, I have to work for it. And then I was trying to work for it. We
started punishing ourselves.
I was trying to work for it.
Me too.
But it was like, not moving the needle.
And then I like uncomfortability because I find it very humorous.
So we're talking over each other.
Yeah, we're talking. I was talking over him, and then there's a part where he's talking, I'm talking. I'm like, well, I'm gonna win because it's my show.
Oh man!
And then he's like, and then I'm like, oh, he's lost interest.
The whispering.
But I'm like, I'm gonna get him back. We should have just ended. We should have been like, Todd, thanks for coming. But I want to I'm like, oh, you're not. Well, I'm gonna get it.
Well, win him over.
I'm gonna win him.
I'm gonna bring him up. I'm gonna win him over.
I'm gonna win him over. So he's my best friend.
I'm gonna bring him back around.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Oh, he's trailing off. Oh, we lost him. Oh, he hung up.
I wanted to hang up and be like, these guys are awesome. I can't wait to meet them.
But they didn't.
No,
he hung up. He's like the goddamn radio chuckleheads. They're in there doing the stupid radio thing.
They're idiots.
Yeah, they're idiots. Podcast is just like radio. They're worse than radio. Those guys.
You know what? I bet it was when I mispronounced the Jim Pugh Theater right off the bat.
What did you call it? You called it the Japlu. Japlu de lait.
I was beating myself up yesterday for.
I'm beating myself up now.
Mispronouncing that.
Bennett.
Bennett yesterday because
Tim Burnett.
I was like, you don't deserve to do this. You are a piece of shit.
I wrote that too.
You got ACT, you know.
You got my email.
Fine,
you got my email.
Sorry.
I signed that a different name.
And then I'm like, well, you're obviously not good if you can't even get a name right.
You guys got one of the most famous comedians on the line, and you and Tom can't.
I'll think about it.
We should have just deflected to Sam because she's going and knows all about him. We should have done what we used to do with Lee when he wanted to do certain metal interviews, and we didn't give a damn. We're like, yeah, you just go do it, and then we'll play. And then we should have just said, hey, take it, Sam, and then let her have a conversation with Todd because naturally, men and women, just as
we
natural,
did get along quite well on the phone
natural
together.
Stereotype is that the man is going to be a little nicer to Sam.
How do we know that that's the case, though?
We don't. It's a chance we have to take.
Maybe when it's going bad, we should have a signal, and then just Sam takes over and see if that works.
But again, I'll go with Sam. It didn't go bad.
No.
It just wasn't what we wanted it to be.
Here's the thing. You're never going to get high energy out of Todd Barry. That's not who he is.
I know.
I think he faked it in the beginning, even to when he was like, hey, I'm pretty good. And because he threw in a man, and I was like, oh, you forced the man. You never say man. Like, hey, man, that's not Todd Barry. When's the last time you've seen Todd Barry walk into a room on anything and be like, what's up, man?
We should have
That's
talked
not
to
his energy.
You know, we should have talked to him about this. We should have been like, I know you hate this.
I hope
so
he hears this, and so he knows the authentic us.
No, because I...
Because I think he'd be more pleased at this than he would have what we gave him on the...
Because I think if we came out natural, because
I think you were too high energy for him. You scared him, Tom.
Well, it started with me waving you guys off because I thought you guys were going to discuss for like 2 minutes where we're going to put this segment. I was like, that's rude.
But I don't want to throw him off.
We do that every time we do an interview.
Well, we shouldn't do it.
We start a segment. Where is this going?
That's not their problem. They shouldn't have to deal with that laying on the line.
But if I came out low energy, I thought that maybe he'd think, I've thought about this.
Oh my God, he's in the chat room.
I'm not.
He did like it. No, he's not in there.
I thought that he'd think that we're uninterested or didn't want, because I always want to come with energy.
See how we overthink these things, guys?
Well, I want to come with energy.
I think it's fine. I don't know why you guys are freaking out.
To
That's
show
our
respect.
job.
No,
we're the freak outers.
Well, it wasn't fine. It was one of the lower tier.
It was a lower tier.
Stinkos.
It was an entry level stinko. Yeah, entry level stinko.
It was entry level stinko. I mean, our
Let's
listeners
call it
know.
what it is. Let's be honest. It was entry level stinko.
But that's our fault. We're the
you know what?
interviewers.
It's a little higher than entry level. It's Stinker Junior.
Yeah,
Stinko Junior.
We should have been call him back.
Call him back. Call him back. We have to play this for him.
He called us from a private number. He doesn't want us to call him back.
Oh, private number?
Damn it.
Oh, we'll get you, Todd Barry. I didn't know you private numbered us. He private numbered? That's a person that doesn't trust.
Good.
That's why you guys get along. That's
That's right.
paranoia.
What I want to know, okay, now it's going to kill me until I find. I'm going to email.
Jesus.
Do you have his email?
But we could probably write our good friends over at Dr. Phillips Center.
They're actually watching. So.
We will remind
Dr.
you.
Phillips, ask him. I'd be like, what could have...
September 29th at the
Yeah.
Jim
Pugh.
it's the Alexis and Jim Pugh Theater.
Oh, don't forget Alexis.
Yeah,
Could
can't
we
forget
have
her.
done-
She's on the front. 8 p.m.
What could we have done better? I didn't
You know
research
what?
enough. I didn't research enough.
I researched enough, but these type of interviews go better when we're not running around. For me, I'll speak for me. When we're not running around all morning, I get here and I got weird energy, and then I come in and I'm a little off. I'm off.
But I hit it. My best the all crowd work. I thought that was gonna go somewhere.
It wasn't good. That wasn't good.
Well, he did that in 2016.
Yeah.
Well,
We
I
probably
didn't-
thought because we brought it up that we didn't understand that
Yeah, we didn't
stadium
do
tour is
research.
what he's doing now.
Yeah, no, but you never ask a comedian like, tell us about your show. I don't want to do
No,
that.
never do
No.
that. Or what could somebody expect from a Todd Barry show? You
know,
never say
the
that.
first question was like worst. I hit him with the worst place he ever did, and I knew the alley.
I was upset with you for
alley.
can I be real with you? I
What?
was upset with you for doing that. That's
Why?
That's basic. We
That's
asked that of
basic?
Why'd you
every
open with that?
Yeah, why'd you open with that?
Because I heard. Okay, maybe
Because I told you that
no.
story.
Well, yes. Well, that.
And then he hit us with a rat, and we knew that story.
But
Yeah.
I want. Yeah,
But he didn't expound on
I
it.
opened with that because I didn't want to open with just some basic.
You should have said, "Tell us the rat story, Uncle Barry."
what? I didn't want to open with some basic
Or is it Uncle Todd when you
radio,
say that?
TV,
Uncle Todd.
garbage questions of like. So tell us about.
I blame myself on this one because I set the
Tell us
energy
what,
level.
what we can expect.
Maybe
out
we
of
should have
Todd Barry.
leaned a little further into the Florida thing because he went to UF.
I wanted
He
to do
started
that.
his stand-up at a
Yeah.
Howard Johnson in
Yes,
Miami.
In Miami.
Here's why
We know a ton about this
Yeah.
guy. We
is why I
dropped the
shied
ball
away.
on that. We dropped the ball
I
on that.
shied away from that.
And I
because
blame all of us, including Samantha. I'm even lumping you in on this one.
I didn't want to go into.
I'm putting every member. I'm putting EJ in here too.
I don't know. Tell us how you started. That's basic, bitch too.
We know how he started.
I know, but that's
You don't have him tell you. You sprinkle in some of the knowledge that you know and let them expound on it.
He wasn't expounding.
Or like, hey, is this the first time
No,
you've been
I
back
think-
to Florida in a while, or since the pandemic?
To get the
or-
best out of him, because you can't just ask him questions where he can be like, "Yeah, I've been back to Florida. So it's the first time I've been back. It was, I like it." Okay, so that's I'm trying to give you the answer he would give, right?
Yeah.
You got to give him something weird. You got to be like, "What's up with blowfish? Are those things even real?" And then just let him go.
I don't think that would have worked.
You don't think so?
No, because he'd have been like,
He
"What?"
would
are you
have thought we're crazy.
Yeah, he'd been like, "What are you talking
I'd rather
about?"
him think we're crazy than bad.
But I think he'd shut down worse after that.
You think so?
You got to
Because we were asking
a
him
rapport.
things. He's like, "Yeah, I just walk around and go to restaurants."
I
Oh,
know.
that's when I go, "Oh, no."
Always give us the one line.
Oh,
You're
no.
like, give me something. Anyway,
I blame myself.
yeah, it's our fault. Anyway.
You want to do some voicemail messages?
Yeah.
You sure? You got your phone call coming up.
Oh,
I just don't want you to miss your meeting.
What time? I want to push him as close to
I
his...
got plenty of time.
I want to push him as close to his meeting
I
as
only
humanly
need
possible.
30 seconds preparation
Okay.
for anything. I didn't even stretch when I did the 15-mile-an-hour run.
Or when you did.
What
you
about the
did-
pull-up challenge?
I was
you
gonna
did
say I
today?
wasn't gonna give that up, but
But
yeah.
you got to work out later today, right?
Yeah.
What if you have to do pull-ups? You won't be able to do them.
I'll do them. That's fine.
Let's talk moon landing and how I guess a majority of our listeners do not believe in it.
All right, you guys are talking about the moon thing, and I'm one of them people that say, I don't believe that we've been there 100%, okay? Now, hear me out on this. If we've been there and filmed the first time we went to the moon, how come there's no footage of us going back the other 6 times that we supposedly went? There's where I have a problem. I'm out. Later.
I mean, I have footage of the first time I went to Disney World, but I don't have footage of every time I've been.
But also, just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean...
This is you, though.
Wait a minute.
Sorry, I had to point that out.
No, well, because are you 100% there's no footage of any other trips back to the moon? Or are you just thinking you saw that one famous piece of the first time? I think there is other footage.
Fairly confident that every time we've been in space, there's footage of it. I don't think they go up there without footage. I think that's the thing. That's kind of the point.
There's other conspiracy theorists that make better valid points about not going to the moon, and like different, footprints and the Earth and all those stuff like that. That
shadows and wind.
Yeah. All the they break apart.
I don't think there's enough people representing me. What about the people that don't care?
Here's why I believe.
Where's our voice?
What? Oh, don't care about the moon?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, like the majority of the news. I could just go like, don't care. Like,
I'm with you. I don't care.
There's a ton of stuff I just don't care about.
I'm straight Jay Cutler. Don't care about a lot of things.
A lot of things.
Really, if it involves my family or my own life, that's the only time I care.
Yeah.
Really. And that may sound bad, but I care about other people, and I will never hurt anybody else. And if they are suffering, I'll try to help them. But as far as other people's drama,
if someone
or
was suffering, I would help them.
Politics or whatever stuff that I can't personally do, there's nothing I could do about it, then I do not care. If there's nothing I can personally do about it,
if
my neighbor is starving, I'll give him food.
Let's talk this
because I could do that.
Let's talk about this. You get here early one morning. I'm not here. You're getting here early to work on some things. You go to open up the door. You look to your left. There's a homeless man. He's fallen. He broke his leg and he's hurt. He's laying in the road out here. Do you back your car over him to finish the job?
No.
He's suffering.
No. It's
He's
fine.
suffering. Throw him in the back of your truck. Take him to the hospital.
This is the the main reason I don't believe in the moon conspiracy theorists that say that we never went there is all fake, is because there's too many people involved. And that's why I don't believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, is just because the amount of people involved.
Oh, you underestimate the power of blackmail.
Well, it's just...
What hand signal did you make when you said blackmail? Was it like...
No, blackmail.
Oh, blackmail. Okay.
How many people were involved in the building of the spaceships that went to the moon and the NASA mission control and all the engineers? But it's hundreds, right? Thousands if you even go down the rank of the people built. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to believe that you got everybody not... there hasn't been anybody that came out with their own proof that they had, or saying hey, for sure this, without being some sort of kook on the internet, or some sort of kook that was from the space program.
Well, what's in it to believe that we didn't go into? What's the value in? Okay, so you say
they want to be the contrarian.
Okay, that's fine, but
it's not even a contrarian or
but what's the value? What is
they
it?
want the truth. They feel like the government's lying to them.
Okay, but the government has lied before.
100%. That only proves their point more, that it could be a lie and it could be fake.
Okay, that's fair. But my point is, what's that value of knowing, yep, figured it out, now the moon landing's a lie, I'm unraveling the ball of lies? How does that better your life? Where's the value in that? What does it do?
Everybody just needs something to do before they die.
That's what I'm thinking. Like everybody wants, like, give me the truth.
Everybody's
I
saying
want
this.
the truth. I'm like, well, once you have the truth, what the hell are you going to do with it? What does it do? What's the value in knowing that you've been lied to?
And there's some justification.
There's not relief in that.
That they didn't believe it and they were right. It's it's like, but it's hard. It's like me betting. It's like although everything I bet on, there's a finite if I'm right or wrong, and so I'll get that. All the conspiracy theorists most of the time will never get the finite truth that they're looking for, right? And that sucks.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, right now is a pretty good time for them because a lot of the ones that were earlier on labeled, it depends on what it's been labeled and how sophisticated it is. You got a lot of conspiracy theories right now that really aren't that conspiracy. They're more like sort of true. So if you are a conspiracy theorist, like right now, you got a lot to be excited about.
Well, I mean, sort of true is not true.
Sort of true. Sort of true is better than nothing at all, or sort of true is better than this is complete false, or this is a lie, or we've proven it fake.
It's but also most people deconstruct conspiracy theories starting from lack of evidence, and that's a wrong way to look at anything, right? It's like you don't look at what's not there and then construct the truth. You have to go from the evidence and go forward. So it's like you can kind of come up with any conspiracy theory from lack of evidence,
I don't even know if there are any conspiracy theories that I believe in. You guys got any you believe in? I don't think I have any.
I don't care.
Because I fall in that I don't care category. Sam, you got any?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about them.
There has been real.
That's fine.
And
that's fine.
The thing is,
your business.
and I will give conspiracy theorists this.
You can listen to my conspiracy theory show
if
you want.
Listen to Sam's
see
podcast.
what I actually believe and don't.
You might see her in a different light.
But there has been crazy ones that end up being true.
Yeah.
And
like
that
MK Ultra.
There things like they're releasing the viruses and bombs off the coast and letting it blow to see who gets
I guess my point
killed
is
people.
Okay, so you figure all that out and you're like, I knew it.
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it? Is it just a big I knew it?
You want to be right, and then you're obsessed in the fact. I mean, this.
I want to be loved, man. I don't want to be right.
This is how I became an atheist. As a conspiracy theory, because I started looking at all religion and started questioning it, and then I became obsessed with I can't believe people believe in all these different religions.
Most of the people in my life, in my family, that are conspiracy theorists are diehard Christians.
Yeah. I mean,
which is weird. In a weird way, right? Like that, they'll go to
every
other conspiracy except for that one, right?
Well, yeah, certain hypocrisy, like follow the evidence. Like Jesus is real, but
no, we're not talking about that today.
Yeah, but so then it's like, then you at a certain point there is no proving that you're right, especially with religion, right? It's impossible to prove.
Impossible.
And then so you just have to give up. But the conspiracy theorists, when there's like going to the moon and like have convinced yourself all this evidence points towards.
I got no time for conspiracy.
And
conspiracies.
If you look at the moon one, it does make sense. The motive makes sense. We're in a race with Russia, so if we know we can't get there, let's fake it and pretend we did, right? So we could win because it's all this. We're spending all
There's
these
been comic books about that.
Yeah, billions of dollars just for a DL competition with Russia. That's all it was. Like we went to the moon there was nothing that we garnered from going to the moon that was valuable really to humanity. I mean, I'm sure there's some rocket science and
it
some technology.
One large step for mankind. How dare you?
But I'm saying like, going to the moon and coming back, we brought some moon dust, and it's like, all right, well, we already knew what the moon is made of. It was made of molten lava from the Earth, from an asteroid impact that blew molten lava off the Earth, and then it formed a big
perfect sphere,
and then cooled, and that's what it is. But it's like it was a part of the Earth. We know that as so it's like we didn't need to get rock samples from the moon. It was pieces of ancient Earth.
A D-out competition.
Exactly.
Yeah. We already figured it out.
Yeah. So I understand when people say, "Well, we could have faked it because it's a lot easier." In fact, I agree with them.
100% easier to fake it than actually go to the moon.
We should have just faked it, But the problem is,
my God, my wife does that.
There would be, again, so many people involved. It's hard for me to believe that they all were on board with keeping this giant hoax.
Right.
I don't trust humans enough to believe
they're so
that,
flawed, and
Yeah.
they love flapping their mouths.
And by this time,
It was a lot easier to keep secrets back in the day, though, than it
There
is
are no
now.
those people are still
Secrets now, man.
alive. Buzz Aldrin's still alive, and
They'll punch you in your face.
but all these
You will get mad about it.
but the army of people that made it happen, a lot of them are
Signed
still alive.
NDAs.
You know,
They
Like,
yeah,
got-
that's
they got-
meaningless.
but
though.
yeah, NDAs for sure. You can be like, for sure I was
or
involved.
they like Nexiumed them and had them send news and blackmail them.
The funniest thing
But-
about this is that
But everything gets revealed.
Yeah,
they look at my brand.
For
Yeah.
one cult that has been revealed, there's 1,000 that haven't.
Well, I
Not
mean, like,
1,000.
there are some people that know it though. It's like the information. It's like, how many times have we had people that come in here from a show and they're like, "Yeah, I signed something. I can't say anything," and then they tell us.
Yeah, and then we like, hey, I heard this from this
Right.
person.
I mean,
or-
it's just like it happens all the time.
like
And
look at
just based on
Scientology.
that-
Scientology tried to keep their secret under wraps, and they were to like attack reporters or intimidate them using, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, almost
And-
as a proof
but-
that what they're saying.
But
yeah.
eventually, it all crumbled, and now everybody looks at them like fools.
You want to do one more?
Yeah.
All right, last one.
Hey guys, I'm no Andrew Tate, but I got to question female behavior for a quick second. I'm a Manhattan BDM. I park in a parking garage. I see, people of all ages, stature, financial incomes park their cars, and I just don't understand, why females in general have to pull all the way out of a parking spot until they're completely in the middle of the lane before they start to turn the wheel.
That
Which
is
results
not
in
gender
an Austin
exclusive, sir.
Powers 14-point turn. It's just insane to me, and I've seen it so many times that today I had to just tell somebody, and it's just crazy to me. I just let this be a the more you know moment, ladies. You can start to turn the wheel as you're backing out of a parking spot. You're not going to smash into the car next to you. It's okay.
He sounds like Anthony Jeselnik. Like he sounds Manhattan.
A little bit.
Yeah, he's got that.
That's every
But
person I
at
ever
time
see.
after time-
By the way, it's not just females.
Spicy Manhattan BDM.
Nobody knows how to back out of parking spaces, I feel like. Why is everyone so goddamn slow?
People in
Ooh, I
general
like
are bad
spicy
drivers.
Just
but,
back out and go. Why are we going negative mile, like 1 mile an hour all the way back? Then everybody does it. It's not just women. Maybe where you're living, but I see every single person. I feel like nobody knows how to back out of spaces.
people are bad at everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Is he talking
Driving,
about?
they're not paying attention. I don't pay attention. Everybody's going through life either on drugs or looking at their phone. They all are here to be out
Everyone's
of here.
distracted. By something.
Everybody's distracted by something, either
People are
chemicals or your phone. Yeah.
miserable. You got diarrhea. Like it's just everybody's just driving around mad. They're just like they're not paying attention. No one cares about anybody else. Like that's
All true.
Wait, like what are you? That's humanity. But women.
But those women.
Hey, Manhattan. I see you, Manhattan. On a period.
Bye bye.